Hey, what's up, YouTube? I just have to share this because it's just too ridiculous. This is what I've got going today. This is a foldable dog ramp. It came from Petco, or they ordered it on Amazon or from wherever, but I picked it up on Facebook for 20 bucks. It's got some customized lift going on the front. And so I'm going to give this thing a try. Here it goes. And there it is, the dog ramp, aka bike launcher. So you see what you can do with just a dog ramp. Imagine what you could do with something like a ninja ramp where you can just drop it on the trail anywhere. That's the dream right there.
Hey, what's up, YouTubers?
So I had the random idea to make a video reaching out to new and beginning riders and share some of the things that I learned along the way that I wish I would have known when I was first starting out. And to kind of share a blueprint, a step-by-step guide of how to go from a beginner rider, maybe never even been on a bike at all, to how to get into downhill mountain bike. So here we go.
So you can kind of break down the process into stages. So you begin with stage one. Okay, so stage one, I call it the longing, dreaming phase. You don't even have a bike. You're just maybe scrolling through videos, GoPro videos, while you're eating, while you're sitting on the couch, just dreaming that you wish you could get out on the trail, and you've got this vision that you could be a downhill rider, and you just need to get on the trail somehow, but you don't know how to do it. Bikes are expensive, the trails are far away, there's all these excuses, all these roadblocks and stuff.
And so the longing and dreaming and scrolling through the GoPro footage phase might last for years until you finally decide to move on to stage two, which is action. The action phase, the launch phase. So I'm going to tell you right now, don't listen to everybody that tells you you have to get a new bike. Don't listen to everybody that tells you that you can't use that bike on the trails, that your bike has to be this brand, that your bike has to be all these things. I'm going to tell you the very bare minimum that you need to get out on the trails and get going. Okay, so I started my journey riding Crescent Mountain and full-on downhill trails on a BCA 29. It doesn't even have a model name. It came straight from Walmart, but I actually got it used at Goodwill. And I just decided to get out and ride, and I stopped hesitating, and I didn't listen to the things that said that bike can't handle this or can't handle that. and I just sent it. So as long as you make sure your bolts are tight and you don't push it too hard, you can get on the trail on anything and at least decide if you actually like to ride a bike or not. So you can just get out and send it on whatever you have, as long as you make sure your bolts are tight and you don't push it too hard. If you start to hear the bike making noises, you know, obviously something's about to fall apart, but that's how I did it. And I rode that POS BCA into the ground until parts started to fall off of it. And I made it through, but that's part of the reason I'm making this video, so that I can tell you that later on I learned that you can find used bikes that are completely trail capable, completely jump capable, especially for new riders. Just get on Facebook Marketplace and you can find all these used bikes, because there's all these people that got new bikes that thought they were going to get into it, and they tried it once and they hated it. They went straight to the downhill trails, they got beat up, their bike got beat up, they hate pedaling, they hate bumping through the stuff because they're not ready for it, and they decide, oh, you know, I just really don't like riding, and they sell these brand new bikes at less than half price. So just get on Facebook Marketplace and find a used hardtail, like a GT or a well-known brand. That was my next phase. Hardtails are definitely the way to start out. It's a little bit rougher of a ride, you don't have that suspension in the back, but the things that say that they make you a better rider, it's absolutely true. You learn to pick lines, you learn to soak up the hard hits, you learn to bump through the rocks.
So that's actually my first recommendation, is to get on Facebook Marketplace and find a cheap hardtail that's a good, recognizable brand. It has the real suspension on the front, and it has disc brakes.
But you don't want to just grab any old hardtail. You want to make sure that it's like a recognizable brand. Look it up, look up information about it, make sure that it's a well-made bike, that it's at least made trail capable. I mean, you don't want to get like a rickety mongoose that doesn't have the real suspension on the front. Hardtail's one thing, but you do want the real suspension on the front. And what I realized after looking through so many different bikes is that even the expensive trail bikes have the same model of the Sun Tour fork on the front. So even a cheap hardtail versus a specialized hardtail is probably going to have the same Sun Tour fork on the front and the same travel. So you can get on Facebook Marketplace and just look for a fork that looks like this. Not like this. The next thing you want to check to make sure that this hardtail you're looking at, just the basic things that you want it to have, are the disc brakes. Definitely disc brakes are better than drums, and it's something that you're going to want to have even starting out, because then you can get down an actual real trail without having that dying goose honk all the way down that people can hear you from the trailhead coming. It just adds to the embarrassment, it adds to that feeling that you're on some rickety POS. So just make sure that the bike you get has the disc brakes. Wheel size, I kind of look at it this way: if you're like 5'11", 6 foot above, somewhere in that range, the 29er is the only way to go, unless you're on totally flat, groomed flow trails with no bumps and all you're doing is flowing along, jumping. But since this is aimed at beginning riders that are getting out there on any kind of trail, just kind of trying to figure out what they'd like, I'd recommend the 29-inch wheel if it's your size. If you're a smaller rider and the 29 really feels too tall, then the 27.5, but even if all you can find used, if you find a great deal on a 26er, it will work too. It just means that you need to pick your lines more carefully. So that's also where the hardtail comes in, you know, it helps you pick those smooth lines so you don't just go blasting through these rocks that are going to knock you crooked off the trail.
fall to the ground, 'cause they said so. You don't need to fall to the ground, 'cause they said so. You don't need to fall to the ground, 'cause they said so. You don't need to fall to the ground, 'cause they said so.
Rip into this stuff. You can hook up everything. Get to the point where we can actually move up to the edge. Main tool you need for clearing trails is determination. You can get it done however, you just gotta do it. Yeah. That little popper works good for just an easy starter.
Just the first run. Green hit on it. So good. Second run off the little second stage boost. Down too much. I need to burn that better. That's where I lost it. I probably could have wrote it out, but I decided to fly out and bail because I felt like I was going to go all wild off the tree. Get acquainted with the bushes again. Starting to power up here on power line, I think. Second stage booster is working. Booster rocket. I don't know if it fits in with the power line beam, but I'm trying to keep it all matched up. The shuttle's clean. Away. It's sketchy and hairy, gnarly in there. All the things. All those Y words. Damn, that was good though. That one sank good. I probably hit some of this scrap in here. That's probably why I'm going wild, but I do need to burn this up really good so I can just blast it. Obviously, this is the next stage here. I mean, I haven't even worked through it, so of course it's rough and wild. Oh, but another stage comes together here. Booster rocket.